Good morning students, myself Sneha Sharma Bora. Today's general English class will be taken by me. So the chapter that we are going to start in today's class is from the book Snapshots, and the name of the chapter is Ranga's Marriage by Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. This is the third lesson from your Snapshots book. So in today's lecture, what we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the introduction, and also in the introduction we are going to learn about the author, the themes and the characters. Along with it, I am also going to give you the explanation of the first part of the lesson. The lesson has been divided into 6 parts, so you can easily distinguish the parts when you go through the lesson. And today in this particular lecture, I am going to give you the explanation of the first part of the lesson along with certain focus questions. So let us begin. Here in the first part, firstly let us start with about the author. The name of the author of this lesson, Ranga's Marriage, is Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. And you can see he was born on 6th June 1891 and he died on 6th June 1986. So he was born on 6th June 1891 and he died on 6th June 1986. He is a well-known writer in Kannada language. He was the fourth among Kannada writers to be honored with the Gyanpith Award, which is the highest literary honor conferred in India. Then next, he is popularly referred to as Masti Kannadara Asti, meaning Masti Kannada's treasure. He also wrote under the pen name Srinivasa. He was a prolific writer and he wrote more than 123 books in Kannada and 17 in English. And he was mostly known and he was renowned for his short stories. So these are the only points that you have to remember regarding the author. So the first is that he was a well-known writer in Kannada language. He was the fourth among Kannada writers to be honored with the Gyanpith Award. Next, he is popularly known as Masti Kannada's treasure. Then he wrote under the pen name Srinivasa. And next, he was a prolific writer who wrote more than 123 books in Kannada and 17 in English. And he was mostly renowned for his short stories. So now, let us come to the next point, that is themes which are present in this particular lesson. So here, the first theme that we are going to find in this lesson is conflict between traditional and modern thought. So here the conflict is between traditional and modern thought, and how the conflict occurs when Ranga is the protagonist of the lesson. Ranga, against his rationality, falls in love with Ratnam, an 11-year-old girl, and finally gets married to her. So the first theme that we are going to find here is the conflict between traditional and modern thought. So Ranga, the protagonist of the lesson, he was a very modern thought person, but still he, against his rationality, he falls in love with an 11-year-old girl who is Ratna, and finally they get married. Next theme, it reveals a realistic picture of rural India in past years. So the picture, the background that we are going to find here is of rural India in the past years. Okay, a time when people did not know English, and the narrator in this lesson referred to English language as priceless commodity, which was not so widespread in villages then. So the picture, the background that we are going to find in this particular lesson is of the past years in India, when in rural India actually, when English was not very much prominent. And the narrator here, in a very sarcastic manner, calls the English language as priceless commodity. He is in a way making fun of the English language. The next theme, it harps on the theme of marriage. Especially the marriage here that is talked about is child marriage. Here it also talks about child marriage. This lesson highlights the theme of child marriage also, and it depicts the role of neighbors and well-wishers had to play in arranged marriages. So how the neighbors and well-wishers, they play a very vital role in arranged marriages back then. So this lesson also talks about that. Finally, it stresses on how astrologers held a place of reverence in society. Their words had unquestionable acceptance. So at that point of time, astrologers, they had a very important place in the lives of the people. So their words were accepted without any question. So in a way, the writer is also making fun of astrology. That how you can see when we will go through the lesson, you can easily see that how the narrator and the writer in a way is making fun of the concept of astrology. So here in this lesson we are going to find these four themes. Firstly, conflict between traditional and modern thought. Second, reveals a realistic picture of rural India in past years. Third, harps on the theme of marriage, and here basically child marriage. And finally, stresses on how astrologers held a place of reverence in society. So I think I'm clear with about the author and themes. Now let us move towards the characters. So who are the characters that we are going to find here? So the first character that we are going to find here is Shama. Who is Shama? Shama is the narrator of the story. He was simple and kind-hearted person. Has lots of admiration for his village, and the name of the village is Hosahali. Knows even the smallest details. So this person Shama, he has lots of admiration for his village Hosahali, and he knows each and every details of his village. Seems to have a clever perception and is a good judge of people. So these are the characteristics of this person Shama, that he seems to have a clever perception and is a good judge of people. He can judge people very properly. He was traditional in his outlook, so he has traditional mentality. He is also very cunning because by his conspiracy with the astrologer, he gets Ranga and Ratnam married. And finally, he is a benevolent man who wants everybody to be happy. So, these are the characteristics of the person Shama. So, Shama is the narrator of the story. Next is Ranga, who is the protagonist of the lesson. And who is Ranga? Ranga is the village accountant's son. He has gone to Bangalore for studies and returned after 6 months. He was a well-educated and well-mannered boy, generous and considerate because even after his Bangalore education, still he touched the elders' feet while greeting them. So he had changed his outlook after being educated in big city. He had some modern ideas about life and marriage. But in spite of having clear and well-defined views of marriage, he still fell prey to an arranged marriage with an 11-year-old girl. So Ranga was the son of the village accountant. He had gone to Bangalore for his studies and he had returned after 6 months. He was a well-educated and well-mannered boy, generous and considerate because even after his city education, he used to touch the feet of the elders while greeting them. Though city education has not changed him physically, but his outlook and his mentality has changed little bit. He had modern ideas regarding life and marriage. But in spite of having such clear and well-defined views on marriage, yet he falls prey to an arranged marriage, and that too with an 11-year-old girl. Now let us come to the next character. And who is the next character? It is Ratna. Ratna is Rama Rao's niece, a sweet girl of 11 from a big city. So she is Rama Rao's niece. Rama Rao is a villager in the village Hosahali. She had come to live with her uncle after her parents' death. So Ratna's parents both they had died, and her uncle brought her to live with them. She was beautiful with an innocent face, and she has certain qualities. And what were the qualities? She knew to play the harmonium and the veena. Also, she could sing melodiously. So she knew how to play the harmonium and the veena, and she used to sing very melodiously. And this, her sweet and endearing nature, made Shama choose her as Ranga's bride. So Shama, the narrator, as I have already told you, he has chosen Ratna as Ranga's bride. So here Shama plays a very vital role while arranging this marriage between Ranga and Ratna. So next character that we are going to find here is Shastri. Who is Shastri? Shastri is the village astrologer, and he plays a vital role in arranging Ranga's marriage with Ratna. And what he does? Initially, he was tutored by Shama. Tutored by Shama means that the narrator, Shama, he went to Shastri, the village astrologer, and he had given him all the clues, all the points that were required to arrange this marriage between Ranga and Ratna. And after that, Shama took Ranga to Shastri. So initially, in the first place, the village astrologer was tutored by Shama, but later on he cleverly molds Ranga's heart so that he falls for Ratna. So the hints that were given by Shama were skillfully developed by him, and he was the one who is able to get Ranga's confession about being in love with Ratna. So these are the four characters that we are going to find in this particular lesson. Shama, the narrator; Ranga, the village accountant's boy and the village accountant's son and the protagonist of the lesson; third, Ratna, the bride that was chosen by Shama for Ranga; and finally Shastri, the one with whom Shama conspires finally to get Ranga and Ratna married to each other. So till here we have learned about the author, then the themes that were prevalent in this lesson, and finally the characters of the lesson. So now let us start with the explanation of the first part. So I think you all have already studied the first part of the lesson. So if you all have not studied, please go through the first part of the lesson. I have already given you the page number 16 to 17, and in the quotation you can see the lines from where to where you have to read. Go through that and then you can continue with this video. So now see here, in the first part of the lesson we see that the narrator, he starts with the explanation of the title. The title is Ranga's marriage. So he says that why he has not given any other fancy title like Ranganatha's Vijaya, Jagannatha Vijaya, Girija Kalyana. Why he has not given any kind of fancy title or mouth-filling title to his story? Because the story is not about any Jagannatha's victory or Girija's wedding. It is about whom? It is about the marriage of Rangappa. Rangappa is the full name of Ranga. And who is Ranga? Ranga is the accountant's son, and he is the native of the village Hosahali. So Hosahali is a village where this Ranga, Shama, these are all residents of this particular village. So here in the first part he starts with the explanation of the title, that why he has not given any mouth-filling title to his story. So because the story is not about any Jagannatha or Girija, it is about their own Ranga, their own Rangappa's marriage. That's why no fancy title is given to this particular lesson. Then he continues with the description of the village. He says that the village of Hosahali is a non-descriptive village in South India. So it was non-descript village because there was no mention of it in any geography books, because the English people, they were unaware of this village Hosahali. So they were the cartographers, they also couldn't locate the village. So finally there is no mention of Hosahali village in any geography book. It is actually a village in Mysore state. Now his village, there are certain specialities in his village. What are the specialities? First, there are some mango trees in village, and the mango of the village was very sour in taste. And it says that the moment the soreness, it goes straight to the Brahmaranthra. Brahmaranthra means goes straight to the nerves of the brain, and it directly touches over there. So the soreness is very much effective in a way. So here the first speciality of his village is the soreness of the mango. Secondly, creepers growing in the village. So secondly, there are certain creepers that used to grow there along with beautiful flowers, and the creepers were special because if anyone takes two leaves from the creepers when they used to go to have their bath, then they don't have to worry about not having leaves on which to serve the afternoon meal. So the leaves were such big that they used to be used as plates. So this is another specialty. Then thirdly are beautiful flowers. These creepers used to bear beautiful flowers, so beautiful that it's like a feast to the eye. So the flowers were extremely beautiful. So these are the specialities of his village. Number one, the sour mangoes. Number two, the creepers growing in the village. And number three, beautiful flowers. But finally, he then stops and says that sorry for digressing from the topic. The main topic is Ranga's marriage. Sorry for digressing it, because I am very sentimental regarding my village. The moment I talk about my village, I just get flown to it and I continue talking about it. So I will not say much more about my village, because the best way to know about a place is to visit the village. So if you want to visit it, please uh, drop a message to me, drop me a line, and then you'll be able to know about my village Hosahali. So here in the first part, what we get is that he first of all mentions about why he has not given any mouth filling title to his story, and secondly he talks about his village Hosahali. So I think I am clear with the first part of the lesson. Now let us see certain focus questions. So after reading the first part of the lesson, you can see that these three questions, the answer to these three questions are very much present in the explanation itself. So the first focus question is, why has the narrator not given some mouth-filling title to his story Ranga's marriage? So very easy, because the it's not about any Jagannatha's victory or Girija's wedding. It's about their own Ranga, who is the accountant's son, and who is the native of the village Hosahali. So this question is for 2 marks. Next, the best way of getting known to a place is to visit it. Which place does the author refer to? So here the author refers to the place. What is the place? Hosahali. Finally, what do you learn about the narrator's village? So here we have to write that the narrator village is a nondescript village in South India. It's a village in Mysore. It could not be located in any geography books, because the English people, they never knew that such a place existed. Also, as they were unaware of the place, so the cartographers also could not locate the place, locate Hosahali. So there is no trace of Hosahali in any geography books. So next is that the specialities that are there in present in Hosahali, which already I have explained. So all these points you have to include in this answer. Here this question is for 5 marks. Finally, we have come to the end of the present day lecture. In today's lecture, we have learned about the author, the themes that are present in this lesson, the characters of the lesson, and finally the explanation of the first part of the lesson along with 3 focus questions. This is all for today. Thank you.